is something that we are all not that comfortable talking about, but maintaining a healthy body mass index or hip to waist ratio can reduce your risk of stroke and is really important. So Professor Feigin, how is weight exactly connected to stroke, and what BMI is ideal to lower your risk of stroke?
Yes, thank you. Very good question. The problem of excessive weight or overweight or obesity is a growing, a very, very important problem worldwide, not only in New Zealand. New Zealand, one of the leading countries in terms of the prevalence of obesity and overweight in both children and adults, but it's a huge problem globally. Why? Weight is clearly associated with a number of risk factors for stroke. Blood pressure is number one, diabetes, heart problems, cognitive functioning is associated with weight. Atherosclerosis, they're all associated with weight. Excessive weight is indeed a risk factor for all these conditions, and through that is associated with the risk of stroke. What is or what can be regarded as an excessive weight? IBM is not ideal measure for excessive weight. For example, in sport people, athletics, with muscular people, it will give high readings, high IBM index in these people. Why they are not overweight? Because overweight is mainly refers to the excessive fat in your body, particularly abdominal fat. The much better measure of weight is waist circumference or waist to hip circumference ratio. But simply just measure your waist, and if you are a man, then your waist circumference should be ideally less than 94, and if you are a woman, then your waist circumference ideally should be less than 80. If it's over, then it is a sign that you may have overweight. Another simple, really simple way of measuring whether you are overweight or not is to your height minus 100 should give you your ideal weight. If your weight is over that number, then you are likely to be overweighted. I said that overweight and obesity is a big problem in New Zealand and worldwide. In New Zealand, 1/3 of adult population are obese. 1/3. Every 1 of 3 people. And in children, it is approximately 1 in 10. So it's a very big problem in children who are overweight, and particularly obese now. In 30, 40 years, they are likely to develop diabetes, hypertension, heart problems, and they are candidates for all these terrible health problems. So we need to do really urgently something to reduce the prevalence of overweight children and also reduce the prevalence of overweight and particularly obese adults. This is a particular problem in Pacific people in New Zealand and Maori people. In Pacific people, over 60% of New Zealand Pacific people, adults, are obese. Over 60%. Can you imagine? In Maori, it's about 50%. And in New Zealand, Europeans, it's about 1/3. But it's terrible figures. We need to do something. What can be done? Again, the recommendations are rather simple. Diet, adequate physical activity, and that's it. Every 1 kilogram of excessive weight is associated with the increase in your blood pressure of 1 or 2 millimeters systolic blood pressure. So you reduce your weight, say 10 kg, you reduce your blood pressure by 10 to 15 millimeters. Very substantial reduction without any medications. The question is how to reduce your weight and maintain your healthy weight. That's the biggest challenge, maintaining the healthy weight. Reduce the weight, there is no kind of magic pill. And there are a lot of commercials about that. But it all comes to diet and physical activity, a balance of the two. You could reduce your weight by either, but ideally you need to reduce your weight by both ways. Improving your diet, reducing fat, calorie intake in your diet, more fruits and vegetables, and increasing your physical activity level. Both two must work together. If you use just one, your weight reduction is not going to be sustainable. You need to do both. And as I said, it's a very effective way of reducing your blood pressure, reducing your risk of stroke and cardiovascular disease.
So it's really changing your lifestyle in a way to make it work for you and to include exercise in your daily
routine.
Routine.
Yeah.
In your everyday
Building
life.
it up into your routine. That's the best way of maintaining these changes in your body weight. Because most people, when they particularly feel uncomfortable with their weight, they can reduce it by drastic measures for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. They can do something drastically to their diet or physical activity, but then they go back to their usual way of living and physical activity and diet, and actually weight is going to be even higher. They regain the weight and they gain it even more than they used to have before. So that's a very critical to maintain it and build it into your routine. And on the positive side, if you build it in your routine, like regular physical activity, your body would require it over time. You will get used to that, and you will feel uncomfortable over time if you don't do those physical exercises regularly. That's a good side of that. The same with the diet. If you get used to that, research shows that to get used to that, build it into routine, you need about 3 months to maintain the changes in your diet and physical activity. Then it will go much easier, and over time you will not feel any discomfort from doing all these things. You will enjoy basically those things. Diet and healthy diet and adequate physical activity.
Brilliant. So here you have it. Quite simple changes to your lifestyle can help you maintain a healthy weight. As we said, regular exercise, a change in your diet. So really try and build it, as Valery said, as part of your routine. Very important. Have a look at our hashtag Don't Be the One in Z stroke prevention campaign on our website, www.strokecentral.org.nz. or visit our Facebook page for any further info and updates as well. Stroke prevention is key, and exercise and diet are a main part of that. Thank you.
Thank you.